Welcome back to Fly Tying Fridays. This is episode 2. This episode, we're going to show you my way of tying a classic black Pennell. This pattern represents just a basic hatching buzzard, cryono mid. I'll be doing this on a size 10 wet fly hook. You can use a dry fly, universal, depending on how long you want the body to be. You can switch your hook up. Typically, this fly is tied anywhere from a size 8 all the way down to a size 16. Play around with it. Tie it as small as you can. Play around and find out. This fly will have a tail that will be a golden pheasant tippets. The body of this is going to be a standard black thread. We're going to use 140 denier for this one. The ribbing on this, we're going to use silver tinsel. Gives it a little different kind of shine, but it doesn't add too much weight. The key to this one is it is a wet fly, but you don't always want it to sink fast. You can add a bead head if you like, but typically you want it to be a slow descent. The hackle on this, I'm going to use a standard cock hackle. This one's going to be a little scarlet brown. Gives it some nice touch. You can do them in black, brown. I've done them with green, even a grizzly hackle. Just play around. As you learn and practice, I mean, all kinds of colors work. Thread, tinsel, tail. Change it all. Find out what colors work in your area. Well, let's start tying, and I encourage you again, tie yours while I walk you through it. Again, I am no professional, but hopefully that'll make it easier for you to learn. A skill every fly fisherman should at least try. All right, let's go ahead and put our hook in the vise. Then we're going to take our black thread. We're going to start it slightly behind the eye. Leave room to tie a head, because the head on this one's going to go in front of that hackle. Trim off that extra thread. And then you're going to want to bring that thread all the way back to the end of your shank, just about. Next, we're going to tie in our tail, those golden tippet. A little loose wrap on top, just to kind of lock it into place. And then go ahead and trim off that excess up top. Now go ahead and cut a 4 to 6 inch piece of that silver tinsel. And we're going to tie that guy in now. Get that tight. Go ahead and leave that out of the way. Now we're going to wrap this back forward to where we started. Now we're going to go ahead and take opposite wraps with our silver tinsel. It helps to keep tension on it as you're doing it with tinsel. It does not move like wire does. Hold it in there, lock her down. Every time you lock it down, you want to hit it on the, in front of it and behind it. And we're going to go ahead and cut off that extra tinsel. This is where we're going to tie in our hackle feather. Just tie it in at the tip. Good and tight. And then just cut off the little tip excess there. Get it out of the way. I like to take a pair of hackle pliers. You can use tweezers, your hand, whatever you've got. And we're just going to start wrapping that forward. Make sure that thread is forward so you have room to wrap your hackle. Try and keep your hackle facing the same direction the whole time you're wrapping it. And give it 3 to 5 wraps. And then pinch your hackles out of the way. Go ahead and lock that guy in. Take your scissors, trim off that excess. Give yourself a couple good wraps down to that eye. And now you're just going to build a slight little head up here. Nice little head. And then bring out your whip finisher. If you don't have a whip finisher, you can go ahead and do half hitches. I've got a video coming out soon that'll explain how to do half hitches even if you don't have a tool. 5 wraps with that whip finisher and pull her tight. We'll go ahead and snip that right up close. Fan those hackle feathers out. And you've got a black Pennell. If you have enjoyed this video or learned something new, please subscribe down below. I will have a walkthrough for a different fly every Friday, starting with some basic patterns to help learn different techniques that will all come together in more difficult flies down the road. Thank you again for watching. Comment down below if you can guess what we're tying next week. Here's a hint. The fly I am tying at the end of this video is the fly we will be tying in the coming week. Can you find out what it is?